Greetings and a warm welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today, we are working through when you are directed by emotion. And look, this happens when people lack self-awareness, lack thought management, and they sort of just not are aware of the things that go on in their minds and how they respond, how they react, how easily they are triggered. And emotional dysregulation has become a very natural thing. People react when they are upset. People are overjoyed when things go well. But understand that emotion is never a constant. You cannot build and base your life upon feeling good and feeling happy. You need to build your life upon productivity, fulfillment, contentment, and inner peace. Because the more you focus on emotion, the more unstable you will become, the more imbalanced you will become. Because we decide as human beings, as individuals, which emotion is good and which emotion is bad. And we often don't have a second thought about what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and we just act out of that explosive parts of ourselves. And that is very dangerous. That is very destructive. It can ruin relationships. It can ruin your mental stability. It can ruin any sense of balance or productivity or functionality that you have in your life. Because when we are directed by emotion, we are looking for the next thing that will make us feel good. But that's not going to bring long-term fulfillment and long-term success. And the problem with being directed by emotion is that we react instead of responding. A reaction is a type of response where we are very either angry or upset or hurt or any negative emotion that might cause an explosive reaction. And we say things, we do things when we are upset, when we are angry, when we calm down, we never meant them. Responding is taking the wise mind approach, being right in the middle of your emotional mind and your rational mind, to be more emotionally aware. And that's how you are more able to emotionally manage. And the idea is to respond, even if you are angry, even if you are not doing well, even if it's been a rough day and you're overstimulated and overwhelmed. Be careful how you react, because your reactions can create a permanent outcome that you never wanted, or that has a very detrimental effect on your life. And the problem with being directed by emotion is that you will constantly feel imbalanced. Every area of your life will be imbalanced. You'll overcompensate for one area and completely neglect another area. And when you become so imbalanced because your emotions are here, then there, because you're not able to manage them, it causes you to eventually become mentally unstable, because you cannot process and you cannot deal with what you are feeling. So it just ends up becoming so overwhelming, and you may find it very difficult to sort it out or to work through it or process it. And all of that emotional buildup is what's going to cause you to become unstable. And another reason why we are directed by our emotions is because we struggle with thought management, cognitive processes, being able to manage what goes in and how much attention we pay to it. Because believe it or not, what you think, you will feel. Every thought you have has an emotional response, even in the tiniest ways where you possibly have not even noticed. But once you start to sort through all the chaos in your mind and throwing out all the old mental clutter and getting rid of junk, then you'll find it a bit more uplifting. You'll feel a bit lighter. And once you are able to decipher which thoughts are worth paying attention to and which you can just let pass you by, because you don't have to engage with every thought that comes to your mind. And when you do that, it can cause anxiety and depression and overthinking and emotional dysregulation. And when we are directed by emotion, it causes relationship conflicts, because if you are not emotionally regulated and you are imbalanced and you had a bad day and someone says something, someone you love says something to you and it just triggers you, then you react and you take it out on them and you yell at them or you say something hurtful, and that is what's going to lead to conflicts, relationship issues, connection issues, a lot of possible arguments and more conflict. When you are directed by emotion, it's very difficult for your loved one, because they can never tell, are you happy, are you sad? And when you are happy, then it feels amazing to be around you, but when you're sad, you stop caring about the other person, or you don't notice what's going on around you. So when you're very emotional and you sort of up and down, up and down, up and down, it can make it very difficult for people to connect with you, and that can cause a lot of relationship conflicts. And the problem with being very emotionally driven is that people see you as unreliable and untrustworthy, and that causes isolation. And as a result of that, you will start to self-isolate, because you can't express yourself, you can't be yourself, you can't make connections. When someone is very up and down, they can feel something, they can feel an emotion about something the one day, and then the next day they're completely against it. And so it becomes a little bit off the rails for a lot of people, and it can be very difficult for your loved ones to sort of gauge where you are. And when we are very emotionally driven, we become extremely erratic, and we jump between highs and lows, and I'm happy and then I'm sad, and then this is great and then it's not okay. And because with every single situation in life, you have an emotional reaction, and when you engage in that and you reinforce that, then you struggle with highs and lows, because you no longer have that balance. You are just emotionally driven. Another thing is that it can cause major mood swings, where you can't keep a stable mood, and you're constantly fluctuating in and out of different moods. In the morning, you'll be in a horrible mood, but then in the afternoon, everything's great and amazing. And that can be very, very difficult for you to keep your mental health managed when you are so up and down, because that can also cause you to feel very trapped in your emotional mind, and like you can't break free from what you're feeling. And also another thing is that people become impulsive, because they're looking for the next thing that will make them feel better as quickly as possible. And it makes people codependent. When you rely on someone else to feel happy in order for you to feel good, then you become codependent, then you become emotionally dependent upon them. And if they're in a bad mood, it upsets you, and that can cause a lot of issues with self-worth and having your own autonomy. Remember, when it comes to being directed by emotion, it's important to seek things that are constant in your life, to seek stability. Look at what's keeping you stable and create a state of inner peace. Because once you have that inner peace, it's very difficult for it to be shaken by emotion. And one of the biggest fights against being directed by emotion is to make peace with uncertainty, because it's uncertainty that causes us to be directed or emotionally driven. How do you relate? So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.